All right, if you operate, maintain, or manage any Airbus A220s, you need to listen up. There's a new mandatory safety directive out, and frankly, it's a big one. We're going to break down exactly what you need to know because this is not optional.
So let's just cut right to the chase with the one question that every single A220 operator is asking right now. And yeah, it sounds alarming, and it should. This is the whole reason this new Airworthiness Directive exists.
And the short answer to that question, it's potentially yes. Transport Canada has identified a really serious unsafe condition, and this new directive, CF-2025-45, is the mandatory fix that's designed to eliminate that risk for good.
So let's really get into it. What does this alert actually mean for your operations, for your maintenance planning, and for the safety of your fleet?
First off, let's be absolutely clear what we're talking about here. An Airworthiness Directive, or an AD, isn't a suggestion. It's not a nice-to-have, it's a must-do. It's a legally required action, and this one is laser-focused on one specific problem: electrical harnesses in Lavatory A that haven't been secured properly.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because you might be wondering, how can a seemingly small installation issue create such a massive hazard? Well, let's look at the technical root cause.
So you've got this really dangerous combination. You have an electrical harness that's not tied down correctly, so it can vibrate and rub against the aircraft structure. Worse yet, it can rub against oxygen lines, and that constant rubbing, that chafing, can wear away the protective insulation.
And this just lays out the whole terrifying domino effect. It starts with one little thing: an unsecured harness. That leads to chafing. Chafing can lead to an electrical arc or a spark. And if that spark happens anywhere near a leaking oxygen line, well, you get the absolute worst-case scenario: an uncontrolled fire in flight. We have to break that chain at the very first link. Now, for some of you, this might be ringing a bell. You'd be right. This new AD actually replaces a previous one. But here's the critical difference. This new one, CF-2025-45, expands the scope to include more aircraft. So even if you were compliant with the last directive, you absolutely have to recheck your fleet against the new list.
All right, let's get into the most important part of this whole briefing: the plan. What you need to do, which aircraft are affected, and exactly when you need to do it by.
Okay, this is your master list. Grab your fleet records. For the A22100, we're talking about manufacturer serial numbers 5001 through 5066. And for the A2300, it's a much bigger range, 55001 all the way up to 55167. You need to check every single one of your A20s against this list. So what do you actually have to do? The actions are very specific and they're urgent. You have to perform a detailed inspection. And here's the kicker: if you find any chafing damage, that plane is grounded. The repair must be done before its next flight. Same deal if the harness is misinstalled. You have to add the tie-down straps before the next flight. And all of this has to follow the Airbus service bulletin to the letter.
And here are those dates you need to circle in red. The AD became effective on September 12, 2025. The final no excuses deadline for getting all the inspections and any necessary fixes done is January 30th, 2026. The clock is officially ticking.
Okay, so let's zoom out from the hangar floor for a second. For anyone in management, it's crucial to understand the ripple effects here. This isn't just a maintenance issue, it's a business issue that impacts schedules, assets, and your bottom line.
Let's put some numbers on this to see just how big the scope is. For the A220-100 model alone, we're talking about 66 aircraft. That's a lot of jets that need to be scheduled for this mandatory check.
And that's just the smaller fleet. For the much more common A220-300, that number jumps up to a whopping 167. This isn't some minor problem affecting a handful of planes. This is a huge chunk of the entire global fleet. And your window to get all this work done? About 140 days. That's it. From the effective date to the final deadline, you have about 4.5 months to inspect and, if necessary, correct over 230 aircraft worldwide. The operational planning for this has to be happening right now.
You see, an AD like this sends ripples through the whole organization. Maintenance planners have to find hangar slots. Your commercial and leasing teams absolutely have to confirm the compliance status of their assets because an aircraft is not considered airworthy without this. And, of course, this specific risk needs to be formally logged and managed within your company's safety management system.
So let's be really clear about the final takeaway here. This is not just about ticking a regulatory box to avoid a fine.
This is a fundamental safety action. It's about preventing a truly catastrophic event and ensuring the continued airworthiness and safety of your fleet, your crew, and your passengers.
Now, for all the nitty-gritty technical details, your engineers need to be looking at two documents: the official Transport Canada AD itself and the related Airbus Service Bulletin. And if you have any specific technical questions, here are the direct contacts at Transport Canada.
So we'll leave you with this final, critical question. This is not something to put on the back burner. With potential aircraft groundings on the line, is your compliance plan for every single one of your affected jets confirmed? And more importantly, is it scheduled?